Master plan over there, but our master plan is kicking back apparently. Camera, she's settled into the routine already. Lie around on her back.
No other way to do a passage.
Yeah, no.
It's quite rolly.
People.
It's very rolly.
It's not too bad really, considering we're downwind. But anyway, so far so good. We've got our boat speed up now, pulled out the headsail. Mains out, we're sailing off into the sunset. Had a little problem, an issue with the furler. When we were in Tonga Tapu, I'd adjusted the rigging, and the furler has had a broken screw in it that pins the aluminium extrusion that holds the sail into the actual rotating furling part of the furler. And when we pulled the headsail up this morning, or this afternoon actually as we came out, it had pulled the aluminium piece out of the furling section, which means that you couldn't have furled the headsail. So we had to pull it off, pull it back onto the deck, down, and I had to just tighten up the single screw that's still there. I had a hunt to see if I had anything of the same type anywhere on the boat, and I did find one, but it's way too long. I think it should be okay. It was okay all the way from Tonga Tapu to It was like 6 weeks of sailing, reefing, furling the headsail. It was fine. So I think she'll be alright for a couple of days while we roll downwind to Fiji. He's snoozing. Is it your watch or mine?
It's both of us.
I don't know if that's true. Flying along, aren't we? What are we doing at the moment?
We're doing 7.9. We got a 9.6 then when we came off a wave.
Wow. Okay. It's picked up a bit. I wonder if it's going to stay picked up. Anyway, I'm making wedges out of our leftover yam, sweet potato, and spuds. So the galley is rolling as today. It's rolling every which way. I've managed to get these prepped. I'm going to chuck them in the oven. Add a bit of garlic later. See how they go. It's 7:10 in the morning. Day 2. Passage from Tonga to Fiji. Sea state. It's medium. I figure out about 2.5 metres swells. Still a little confused. There's a little bit of a roll. We're doing 4-hour watches still with just the two of us. It's been okay. Had a low battery alarm in the night, so I turned the engine on just to charge the battery basically. Again, not really sure why it gets that far down so easily. 510 amp hours and wind gen, 400 watts of solar panel, 400 watt wind gen. We haven't been using it for very much. Running the water maker from time to time, that's 4 amps per hour, but you might run it for 4 hours or something, so it's 20 amps, and then you generate that back most days without any problems. Other than that, it's a little bit of lighting, and when we're on the move, obviously at the moment running the electronics, but I don't think they take that much. Charging phones, charging the computer, that's it all. So since we stopped electric cooking, we feel like the electrics really should be able to handle it without any trouble. And yet, out of the blue last night, here we hit 10.7 7 amps, I think it was reading when I woke up to the alarm, or when Emma woke me up. So something's just not right. Still feel like these lithium batteries are not quite perfect. There's some problems that don't make a lot of sense. You working, mate? Which is good, because it means I can turn the autopilot off, and I've been hand steering a fair bit through the night. Without the autopilot running, that's a little less power that gets dragged out of the batteries. Alright, I'm going to go wake Emma up and check the batteries again and get some sleep. So I've just got back up, had a little bit of sleep. Savo, end of day 2. How's your day been, Emma?
It's been okay. A bit sort of rolly, but I've just countered that by eating all day on my watch.
Good way to keep the stomach settled. You finally learnt.
I haven't stopped.
Just keep eating.
I'll be the rolly one when I get off the boat.
No, you won't. You burn it. You burn it up just staying awake and staying alive.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired, but I've slept a bit. And I haven't seen much. It's been a pretty sort of dull, grey sort of day. Anyway, got beans for dinner.
Beans for dinner.
Smoky cabbage
Beans and smoky cabbage. It's actually delicious. We had last night too. And some wedges that I made as well, which I better go and get out of the oven. So this is our first ocean passage with just the 2 of us on board. We thought it's a pretty short passage, so it's a good one to test it out on and see how we go. So far, so good. Beautiful sunset. It's 4 in the morning. About an hour into my watch, except only half an hour because Emma let me sleep a bit extra, thankfully. I had to wake up during my watch, so it was very kind of her to give me a little break and have a little extra sleep. We're just about to cross into Fijian waters. Looking forward to Fiji and looking forward to some normal sleeps again when we get there. 7:15 in the morning. Still got the same rig. Kept that on the whole way. Pole on the same side. Quite handy actually. Consistent lift. Wind vane's still working. Oh, Wendy back there on her thing. Here's another something to note. We've travelled over 4,000 miles since we left Tasmania. Are we getting swallow tattoos soon? So we hit the 5,000 mark. Day 3 cruising.
There goes Jenny at Loo. I think they're heading back to Tonga. No, they've just caught a fish.
So I'm up again because we're getting close to the reef and the entrance to the passage. Emma's made breakfast burritos. Might be delicious. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm starving. But Fiji's turning it on. Bola! There's the sunshine.
I've just scrambled everything we've got left. So fresh turmeric, coriander, garlic, our eggs that are left, and then I'll wrap them.
Bonza.
And it should be quite yummy.
And they were super delicious. Great job, Emma.
Doing about 6 knots on average, in about 16 to 18 knots of breeze. Very comfortable. I'm going back for a snooze, even though it's my watch.
I'm in charge.
Okay. Mango Island. Presumably there's mango trees on there. Still sailing. 3 opposed to having a third crew member on board for crossings.
First and foremost, more sleep. Secondly, an extra pair of hands in working the boat. And thirdly, companionship. When one of us is asleep, there's someone else to talk to. We get to share the experience and make new friends.
3 pros to not having a third crew member on board. No training for me to do, less food to prepare and manage, and more comfortable with the limited space on our small boat. Sunset. I'm just about to start my watch in half an hour or so. Just had a good snooze, which is so welcome. I really need a good sleep. I had a couple of those today, so feeling a little bit better, ready for the last night of this passage. Emma, what has been your favourite thing about this passage?
Well, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with passages. There's a lot of sitting around on your backside, bobbing up and down. It's been a bit roly-poly. But my favourite thing about this passage was today.
Yeah?
Beautiful sailing. Just wind was behind us, sea state's calmed. It's just really nice to be out here. It was sunny, started to see the islands of Fiji. There's a lot of them. And some really beautiful cloud action today. So today was a winner.
See the Coro Sea we're in. That's the name of a bit of water we're in, and it does have a reputation for being rough.
Does it? You didn't tell me that.
I just read it today.
Oh.
But one little squall up ahead there in the distance, but it looks beautiful. Sunset. Right, we better set the sails up for this evening. It's 22:40. Beautiful morning. We're just gliding along. We're on like 7 knots just then, but averaging about 6. Yeah, it's warm, moonlight, just looks gorgeous out here. Show it on film. 60 miles to go. 7:40 in the morning, actually at 6:40 Fijian time, 7:40 Tongan time. But we better change to Fijian. Speaking of which, I've got to take that flag down, don't I? That is definitely the Tongan flag, not the Q flag and not the Fijian flag. Beautiful sunrise. I've had a really nice watch, just having my breakfast, cooking up the last of our famous bananas from David's Beach. David's Bananas. Holding up the Tonga flag. There it is, for those who don't know what Tonga flag looks like. Thank you for the good time. It's a great place to visit and check out. I really enjoyed it. Fiji is looking a bit cloudy today. Beautiful lush greenery. Thoughts, first mate? Emma?
Oh, it's beautiful. So mountainous and green. Might be places to walk.
Oh, walking trails.
Maybe. It's very pretty though.
Predictable, hey? Predictable.
Taking the quarantine flag down. There's our nice quarantine lady. Off she goes. That was actually very straightforward. We did the right thing. We ate all our eggs and got rid of all our fresh fruit and veg. But she didn't check anything.
Well, we obviously didn't have anything.
Alright, and up goes the pretty Fijian flag. Any flag that has a bunch of bananas on it is a good flag.
Love my bananas.
Goes the Fiji flag.
Not sure how long it's going to be up there yet. It's our mooring spot.
It's a bit overcast, so it's kind of hard to say or tell how pretty it is, but it's very beautiful here.
Yes, it is. Very beautiful. I'm a pumper. Pump it up. Sharing the love. Emmy gets a turn too. I didn't want to be greedy and do all the pumping. You're nearly there, Emma.
I'm curious to check out where that steam's coming out.
The immigration people finally got to come at about 6-ish, 6:15 or something. I'd fallen fast asleep. Finally, I was exhausted, waiting. So Emma woke me up in the last minute, and we had to fill out all the forms. Done, and the fees we have to pay. But they've charged us an extra $20 for the one of the fees is normally $26, and they've asked for $46, which we have to pay tomorrow. Emma thinks it's very unfair because we were here in the line way before other boats that came in after us, but they've waited and left us till the very last one because we're in a different spot to the other boats, which is kind of fair enough in the sense that we're in a different spot, but not fair enough to charge us the overtime fees. So the other guys didn't have to pay it, but they came after us. So she wants to debate it. I'm like, well, but anyway, 3 lovely ladies came out to do the job, and we'll struggle to get on the little boat, and feel like it's a bit of a crazy way to do it. There must be a better way. Not sure why once they've cleared us with health they don't say, all right, come to this office, and we go in, and then it'd save them a lot of time and expedite the process. But we are now cleared in. We can go and walk around and go to the bank and get money and go to the shops, except they're all shut now. But tomorrow, after another good sleep, we'll hopefully feel a bit more alive and ready. So I have a little bite to eat and go back to bed. Emma's already in bed. She's exhausted. So good night. So I've had a big sleep. Emma slept for 12 hours. Look at the day. Look how pretty this is. Beautiful mountains and puffy clouds around them. Gorgeous morning. Just had a little swim. Are you the outboard motor, Emma?
Yeah, I'm saving fuel, Sam.
This is how we get places, people. This is how we go. It's super fast. We get 0.5 knots out of the boat. Probably if we let go of the mooring, we'd go a bit faster. Cruise ship people, they're quite friendly. They wave as they go past.
I like it when you wave. Look at those people living the dream.
We are living the dream. I'm living the dream. You're living the dream, aren't you?
Yeah. See how many wave back.
So here we are, kicking back in Fiji. It's really warm. It's a very, very sheltered anchorage at the moment. So no breeze really, and we're cooking. I'm drinking hot tea for some weird reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of humidity.
It's what you do.
It's because it's so green and mountainous, and there's just a lot of moisture. But that's okay. It's beautiful here.
Am I crowding you?
Yeah.
We're going to do a little debrief about our crossing. So the last crossing, which is the first crossing we've ever done with just the two of us. It's different. Doing 4-hour watches, so 4 hours on, 4 hours off, basically 24 hours around. And we were flexible a little bit with that. How did you find it, Emma? What were your loves and hates about it?
Oh, I actually, despite my love-hate relationship with passages, it was a good passage. The sea state was a bit rolly at the outset, but sort of eased into it and kind of enjoyed it. And that last day when we came into Fiji, that was beautiful. Smooth sea state, lovely breeze behind us. And we sort of just eased into it, I think.
Once we were inside the Lao group, you got some protection from the islands, and even though the wind was still steady, pretty similar powers, it was just a lot calmer through there. So the boat was definitely less rolly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of difference.
And we'd been organised, so we'd had all our food prepped beforehand, so there wasn't a lot of food preparation. So that made it really easy. I slept reasonably well. I think on the last night, for whatever reason, I had trouble sleeping. So by the time I got into port, I was exhausted. But as far as passages go, I thought it was quite comfortable, and it was lovely once we entered that Lao group, looking at all the different islands in Fiji and starting to get a sense of how this country will be different given its relatively close proximity to Tonga, but it feels very different. It's a lot more mountainous. But I'm looking forward to learning more about the people and the culture.
Back to the passage, my feeling on it was that you've got 3 people, you're mostly going to get an 8-hour block off when you do 4 hours on, 4 hours off, so it kind of gives you enough rest. And the theory for me is the same, but because I'm captain, I always found that there'll be something will happen within that 8 hours off, and I'll have to get back up out of bed. Maybe better for you and the other crew because you don't necessarily have to do it, unless we need to do sail changes or something, which is pretty rare. So, but the 4 hours on, 4 hours off, I found I got into the rhythm within, probably took 2 days. The first day, as Emma said, was a bit rolly. So I didn't sleep very well. I tried sleeping up forward and it was probably just too rolly. I think I did one sleep on the saloon bunk, which was better. Having the hydrophone out was great. There was no noise from the autopilot, so that took a load off. You're not using battery power, it's quiet, you don't have that noise the autopilot whirring all the time about. We didn't push the boat at all. We had double reef in the main and just our little jib out the whole time. I was probably tempted once to put the main up a bit higher, but I thought, well, it was actually the timing to come through the pass and the timing to come into port here was all more important, and so we timed it actually pretty well. We got into everything in daylight that we needed to, and
it was lucky you didn't in the end because we did get that squall.
I think the max wind I saw on the whole passage was 22, and that was behind us, so that was the true wind speed. So the apparent wind was probably only still about 14 or 15 knots. I'm pretty happy that we did that. I'm really glad we did that on our own. It's lovely having crew, and we've been really lucky. We've had those great Chris and Martin, both fantastic people, fantastic humans, and really easy to be on the boat with. But even so, 3 people on our little boat, it just makes it a little bit trickier, and you've got to be really conscious of each other. The more people you have on a boat, the more tricky that becomes. So I'm sure any of you that have lived in small spaces or in crowded spaces understand. Well done, Emma. We did great. We got here comfortably, safe, and I reckon I'd give that crossing a 8.5 out of 10.